Today, we are recording a podcast that I particularly have been excited about, but also so scared that I've been trying not to put it off. It's going to be...
You're doing it now.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
That's the main thing.
The main thing is I've got out of my comfort zone and I'm now recording a podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's called... The good thing is it's called Amplify Your Ambition. It's a very good podcast. It's going to be number one, hopefully.
Coming for everyone.
Yeah, number one for everyone. Like, even your dog or your nan's going to have to listen to it.
Forced. Just like I am here. Forced to be here, and you'll have to be forced to listen to it.
Oh, you weren't forced here. It's not like I got that.
I was forced. He's pointing something at me to my left.
Well, oh, hey, Alison. Welcome to the stream.
Oh, here we go.
Here we fucking go.
Hello, Alison.
On the podcast, this is already going.
Alison, I'm going to have to decline as management the follow back. It costs $20 for a follow back.
No, it costs 200 actually. I up my rates. 200.
Purple emojis and stars don't work on me. Send the money.
Send $1. It's nerf or nothing. It's nerf or... But yeah, I think I've had a 11-minute chat on this. My all-time favorite game. Oh, I'm already getting asked questions here. I'm gonna say it's Halo. But I was gonna record a podcast and I'm getting asked questions.
I'm surprised you did Halo.
Yeah, you know what? I could have said Call of Duty and just the amount of time
That's what I was thinking.
Screaming down. I'm sure I've got that somewhere.
Yeah, alright, Alison, I'm going to ask very nicely. My finger is over a ban button right now. Send that again.
For Christmas, just for me, please. Please stop. But that's
welcome to the podcast, guys.
Here. I'm just here laughing. It's just a laughing compilation.
This is AI for you guys. Early on the podcast, we already have AI. AI's in the podcast.
Oh,
jeez.
ChatGPT be in the house, yeah.
007 GPT. Let's go.
But yeah.
Right. So you got the name, Amplify Your Ambition. Yep. And what's your purpose with the podcast?
That's also a question someone asked me on Valkence Social.
Yeah, little plug.
There we go. Plug in everything here. I'm like a marketing scheme. So the aim of the podcast essentially is where we're going to literally talk about turning dreams kind of into a reality. So basically taking it from this little hobby that you'd probably be doing for like a year, less than a year. You know, I'm not going to go through time frames, but you know, we're going to see how we turn that into a business.
Yep.
You know, and
alongside mindset,
motivation, because I think a lot of people in the Valkence family, another plug there, I think a lot will probably agree that the journey's hard and it isn't easy, because if it was easy, everybody else would be doing it. And that's what I always say, is if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Just because there's a tutorial on YouTube doesn't mean everyone's going to make it. But
takes a lot of mindset and motivation for yourself.
But the cool thing is we're going to have some cool people on. So we're going to talk to people that do stream, people like me doing musicians, and just other creative types, because it's not just music and it's not just streaming. There's people that, you know, might do something different that's creative, like art or something, and how they turn it into a business. And I'll share a lot of the stories I had with, like, the kind of challenges associated with it, because everyone's going to have challenges, whether through any creative thing's a challenge, because if you look at kind of the market, essentially, big boy words there, if you look at the
Mhm.
market, it's quite saturated. There's a lot of people wanting to be
Yes.
streamers, a lot of people wanting to be music producers, or and it's how you overcome those challenges. So we'll give I'll give tips on how to get started, and or support your current journey if you've already started doing it. So it's
Yeah.
going to be fun. It's going to be fun, really.
All around business mindset, motivation, turning your passion, side project perhaps,
Yeah,
into your reality and your main thing you do.
yeah, yeah. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Taking nothing to something, because like Jack said, you can't watch a YouTube tutorial for everything. Unfortunately,
Thanks, Ethan.
I wish you could do that.
But
Ethan, jeez.
yeah, this is just a
Yeah.
fun. This is going to be a blooper reel. There's going to be a blooper reel after, like in more on the long form content. The blooper reel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's the podcast though. So a bit about yourself. What's your name? What do you do yourself? Where you from?
what's my social security? No, I'm joking.
Credit card number, flash the back, all
Yeah.
numbers.
So yeah, you're probably watching this on the long form content. You're probably watching this on YouTube on the long form content. You're probably tuned in now.
Spotify.
Spotify. Probably just strolled on this and gone, "Who the hell's this guy talking to me for 30 minutes to an hour?" And you're just like, "Who is this guy?
What does he do?
What does he do?" So essentially, I'm Jack or JackOKings. A music producer. A DJ, and I would often say I probably say it as part of the Valkence family, which I'm a part of, is the big brother that most people wish they had in their life. Because
Look at that.
yeah, big bro, big. I'll get that on a t-shirt.
Big bro
I might get it.
vibes.
I might get that on a t-shirt or something. So I think I started off from self-releasing music, so through like distribution services, and SoundCloud. So when everyone says, "Are you a SoundCloud rapper?" No, I've never done SoundCloud rap in my life.
We stray away from there.
Yeah, that's a dark place. We don't go there. That's the one place we don't go. And then from there, kind of going from there, releasing on some of the electronic dance's biggest labels, and from there, it's only going to get bigger and better, and that's going to be the thing that we're really happy about. And
Yep.
yeah, the person that you're hearing in the background isn't my brain, by the way. Are you
Uh,
ready? Are you ready for this intro?
oh,
Are you ready for this?
he told me before the podcast that he's got a very good intro for me. I'm kind of scared right now, I'm not gonna lie.
He's prepared for this because this is going to get clipped, and Matt's going to play this every day on like audio repeat or something. So
Oh, finally someone saying something positive about me.
yeah. So in this episode, I've decided. Get ready for this. I've decided to
I'm
call
scared.
upon. I've decided to call. I'm trying not to laugh, but this is actually what I wrote down. I decided to call upon. I decided to call upon the most beautiful entrepreneur that I know.
All right, all
A
right.
CEO with so many ventures under his belt, it would probably make someone cry. So please welcome to the podcast, Matt. He's going to leave me
Nah.
with questions and hopefully make sure that I answer all of them, or at least I know which questions to answer in the next episode.
Oh, how many times did you ask ChatGPT for that summary?
No, that's actually I didn't ask ChatGPT to write that. That was me, all me.
Oh dear. Oh no. Yes, I'm the guy. I can't. It's something special that.
Yeah.
I might
I
play
don't
that a
think
few
I can.
times.
I don't think Luke's gonna be able to top that.
No, no one's getting credits like that.
No.
No, I'm here to guide Jack today. That is my mission here today. Guide him through the podcast. Also work with Jack a lot. So
Yeah.
here to keep the flow of things going. I'm just gonna let your summary be what I do.
Yeah. And
So
I
many
think
ventures under the belt.
yeah, I think as well. A lot of people being like to add on to the point of who am I? Why have I been doing this? I think Matt, you can kind of relate to this with all the things that you've been doing as well. Is the lone? I say it's a lonely chapter, or of going through what is a lonely chapter,
Yep.
because a lot of my friends and family don't understand what I'm doing. It's almost like Chinese to them.
Yeah.
I've been working on music for I think this has been like 5+ years I've been doing music, and I've had my highs and lows doing it. I think Matt's probably had the same with businesses, highs
Yep.
and lows. People in Valkence family who stream and do all that, they've had their highs and lows, and you know, it you know it doesn't come overnight, and I always say that success will not come overnight, because if it did, everyone would be famous and doing what they want to do. And I hope that when you listen to this or you're watching this in the long form content, you take it away and just be like, oh, I took something away from this podcast that, I'm going to take away and implement. Or
Yeah, a
just,
lesson each episode.
yeah, just a lesson that I've learned, and wanting to pass that down. But yeah, that's enough about me yapping. We're going to get into the real bread and butter of this episode, don't you worry.
I'm petrified after the GPT intro. It's not AI.
AI's just helped me. No, and that was honest. That was actually me. I actually wrote that.
Oh. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go into questions. Then we have questions from other people about the show. Figured to make it interactive for the first episode. So we asked people for questions about the podcast, what they want to know about the podcast beforehand. So hopefully, you get an introduction to the podcast by you, the audience. You are asking the questions about the show.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect questions for the podcast so early on.
I know. You got questions straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go through each question. Since we went through a few, but we'll go through a few more because there's a few left.
Yeah.
The show name and what does it mean and why did you pick it?
Oh, I think so. It's Amplify Ambition, and the reason why I picked it was I wanted to do. I'm going on kind of my kind of journey at the moment of kind of shifting mindset and trying to elevate where I am currently, and I want to kind of share my experiences and share how I'm overcoming those challenges, but also giving back to people, being like, maybe you're starting the same journey I'm going through, or you're doing a completely different thing, but the lessons I'm telling are kind of appreciated. You're learning them yourselves. And the thing I would say is great about this podcast and why I picked to do a podcast in that sense is you learn from the mistakes I've kind of made and you can avoid them yourselves. Or I might have talked about how to seek opportunities that you might normally have not got, or you might have put off. Essentially being like, oh, well, Jack said he always goes for opportunities that I might be too scared to go for, because the one thing I'll always say is if there's an opportunity and you really want it, just throw yourself at it and go in the deep end, because fear is like a mile wide, but once as soon as you walk through the water, it's not that deep, and you're just like, oh, I can walk through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. So look
Yeah.
what else we got here.
Got all sorts.
I know. Luke asked a question, but Luke also asked the same question. Luke is Bartme117, a member of the Valkence family. Apparently can't read other people's questions. He said, he just repeated what you said, but he also said, how does it feel starting up your own podcast? Are you excited about it? Are you nervous to do a podcast? What are the emotions with it?
I think for me, I'm like having a little bit of a podcasty pause there where everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's really about this. So I'm actually, when I first discussed it, or when I had the idea, I was like, cool, it sounds good. And then when I came to you about, oh, I want to actually do my own podcast, because I did do a podcast before, but it didn't. I didn't feel it was, in my honest
Didn't
opinion,
suit you enough.
it didn't suit me, and it was too more aligned with music. It was nothing to do with a wider community and building a community around motivation, trying to turn things that are your hobby into a business, or actually trying like entrepreneurship basically, because JackOKings itself is an entrepreneur brand. Basically, it's there to
Yep.
make money. It's not there just to produce music and DJ. It's there to make money and
Be your career.
Yeah, be my career. And streaming is
Yep.
also in that same thing. So I wanted to make a podcast that covers all bases, but it's also areas of which where it's just maybe you're not a streamer or a musician or creative in that matter, but you just want to know how to overcome specific challenges. Like, what do you do if you've taken a knockback? How do you get up from it? And I think how does it feel? I know I've been on the Valkence Family podcast for a few episodes, and it's cool to actually do something where it's a little bit more Jack orientated a little bit.
Yeah,
uh,
I get that.
yeah, no, yeah, but it's more of where I can kind of bring my mindset and stuff. And when I talk to you about it, like the plans that we like, it's all part of the big plans. I'm trying to
The big picture.
diversify the whole brand and try and help others and grow that community, because that's always what I've been striving to do: build a community around JackOKings and you know
Yeah,
all that
has all
good
your
stuff.
interests around it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It breaks out of just the core barriers of your brand, which is music, and it involves all the different
yeah,
types of things you enjoy, but it still relates back to the core of it.
yeah.
There you go.
Summed it
See, I can string some sentences together. Don't worry, I got it.
up.
There you go, Luke. There's your question. Answered. Not the
Answered,
other
yeah,
half though, because you already answered it. Because you didn't
yeah.
read the other person's question. You already asked it. You clown.
Clown.
What people expect in the show? We already covered that a bit, but motivation, business mindset, bit of an all-arounder, and you're tying it back to music as well, aren't you?
Yeah, all of it comes from my experiences with music, but it's also teaching you kind of lessons. It's also, like I said, I'm being the big brother that you may have not had. Like, I've gone through some tough times, and I'm basically going, hey, don't don't do this, don't do what I
Yeah,
did.
guidance.
Guidance, point you in the right direction. And
Yeah,
I'd seen people succeed as well. When people, and the one thing I think, the things that I will be really excited to see is the comments about the podcast saying, hey, I took this away, I really appreciate you speaking about mindset or motivation or how you overcome challenges, because those are the positive messages that I will be really looking forward to see. And Matt will probably make sure he tells me all those positive messages from the podcast, but I'll also make sure I'm
oh
reading
yes.
them.
Yeah, we want all the messages. Tell us what you took away from the podcast,
Yeah.
what you think about it, any questions you have each time we do an episode. Well, Jack does an episode. I'm just here temporary. I'm a temporary person.
Yeah.
I might be on an episode, but for now, this
Yeah.
is Jack's.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
Jack only episode.
the Jacko Show. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and he'll also have guests on here, not just me. I know I'm everyone's favorite, but he'll also have other guests on here: entrepreneurs, musicians, music artists, creators, anyone who relates back to the show's purpose.
Yeah.
And that brings into the next question, which is perfectly aligned. Who are some of your dream guests?
I think we know. Well, Matt, I'll obviously say you, obviously, because
I know who.
you already know. Like, I think Alex Hormozy is one of the big ones.
Yeah. Do you want to go into why you like Alex? How you found
Uh,
him when you found him?
I think Alex, for me, he kind of speaks the truth, and it's kind of that hard. I think the best way of putting it is it's like tough love, essentially.
Blunt truth.
Yeah, sometimes you don't really need this sugarcoating, being like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay." It's like, well, when I wake up in the morning and things are going wrong, well, I always wake up now going, "Well, things ain't gonna get. At least things aren't getting worse." So he has,
Yeah,
that tough love's actually keeping me
yeah,
going. But also it helps me to, like, I think some of the content that we're gonna put out on Instagram, like motivation wise, is, I always say that success, or Alex has puts it, and I actually really like it as a lesson, is success is kind of the hate that you get on the way. So you
yep,
may have your friends that you go on. I think I talked to you about it like the other week, where I was like, "Oh, someone's trying to tell me to just go out and drink when I just want to work on like JackOKings, like content and music and podcasts and
yeah,
all that crazy stuff." And basically to me it was like, well, they're jealous because I might be at the top of their mountain, and they're not where they want to be, so they're just manifesting that onto me, and it's not a reflection of who I am as a person. So, but yeah,
bring you
Alex
down
is a
to
good
their
one.
level.
Yeah, and then I think Porter Robinson's a good one because is really he's really nice, and he's like me. I'm really nice, but I really know my. Hey, we got a follow. Thank you, Jack Lewis. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream slash podcast. Um, thanks for stopping by. But I think, where was I saying? Oh yeah, Porter. Porter,
Porter,
because
yeah,
Porter is really. he's like me, really nice, down to earth, and that's what I try and come across in kind of the branding and stuff. And then, but he also knows his stuff in terms of production. So yeah, Porter would be great. Porter would be great.
Porter and Alex, join. Come on,
Yeah.
episode 2 and 3, go.
Yeah, do it so that I can flex on all my friends.
Yeah, they'd be good guests. And then
Yeah.
you also want, obviously, again, like creators, music artists in general, bit of everyone.
Yeah.
I see you sipping away on Twitch.
Hey, I'm drinking blackcurrant today. Not like that Aldi Ribena. You know, Aldi, give me a sponsorship deal.
Just the Ribena sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess this leads into another good question. I've lined this up perfectly. So we've gone off that. I was gonna say who. Well, I wasn't gonna say this is a question. Who inspires you? And I guess it would be those two again for you, and maybe some others.
Yeah, I think old school. Like I think because how long have we been friends? How long have we been friends, Matt? Like if we put that on a
2016, 15? No,
we've
not
been
16,
friends for like
16.
probably like 10 plus years or something.
Nearly, yeah, something like that.
I think
Long time.
long time. And then I think my main inspiration was Deadmau5 back in the day. I think because he
Yep,
had
I
a
remember
kind
that.
of like the no take nothing from anyone. So it's like, oh, you said this about me, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like sticks by what he said.
Yeah,
Very
I like to.
authentic person.
Yeah, I like to stick by what I'm saying. Is like, you know, if I say something from the heart, I genuinely mean it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll always try and tell people like I appreciate the work that you're doing, or like the things that you're doing, or your Twitch streams are doing really great. I'm really proud of you, you know, and I will always make sure that it's from the heart and it's open and honest. Whereas, if I wasn't authentic, and that's why I try and come across as authentic, but I still keep that little bit of spice, as I like to call it, the kindness and
Yeah. Sprinkle some other stuff in there.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I get that completely.
yeah,
I think Deadmau5 was definitely one of your favorite inspirations back then.
yeah,
I remember him all the time being spoke about.
yeah,
And as you've gone, it's turned to Porter, Alex now, with your new
yeah.
mindset.
Big.
Who was in the middle? Who was in the middle of Deadmau5 and Porter?
Who was in the middle?
That's one thing. There was definitely someone. It was definitely something after Deadmau5.
Oh, I think it was
I feel like
Martin. I think it was Martin Garrix, wasn't it?
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's laid
And
back
there's
as
also
hell.
yeah, and there's also the time when we liked people. We still like them, but we used to listen to all the time, like people like Cray. Do you remember her?
Oh,
Cray and
Cray, yeah.
yeah, like that's yeah,
Should we get
the
Cray on
OG
this
days.
podcast?
Cray, we'd love to have you on as well.
Yeah, everyone should just
Cray's
come
all.
on the podcast.
Invite everyone. Chat. Allison in chat with purple emojis and star sprinkles. Invite yourself on.
Yeah, explain
Yeah, no.
yourself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been Deadmau5 though. Deadmau5. Martin was definitely a big one for you.
Yeah,
And then went into Porter and Alex now, and obviously there's other people you like too, I think, but
yeah,
they're your mains, I'd say.
yeah, my mains.
Okay. And that shifts us into the next bit, which is what makes you feel qualified to say all this stuff you're about to say on the podcast.
What makes me
What are
qualified?
your degrees in giving motivational advice, entrepreneurship advice? Who do you know? Who's helped you? That kind of thing. Like, how did you get the knowledge you have?
I think a lot of it is, yeah, I'm going to say it because I think, Matt, you'll probably agree with me, is a lot of my lessons that I've learned, or the things that I think I'm qualified to talk about in terms of motivation, is on the small decisions. I like to fucking break things, and that's going to probably go in the podcast. But I like to just break things and find out. So it's like if it's a minor thing, being like, well, let's just break it and find out. Whereas the big major decisions that are like, oh, I'm signing this track to a label, or I need to do this planning for a podcast or this, I kind of go, well, let's plan this and think this through. Whereas the little thing, oh no, oh no.
All right, guys, we're interrupting the podcast episode. There's a bot in the Twitch chat.
Yay.
Enjoy that ban. Why people think Twitch bots still work these days, I have no clue. Not smart. Here you go. You know what? I'll butt in here quickly. You carry on a second. Albert, here's a business lesson for you. Don't do that. That just gets you banned, blocked. No one likes you for that. I'm
Yeah.
being blunt with this as well. No one likes you for that. People dislike your services now. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, you know,
Authenticity,
it's
be direct
true.
with people, personal. Yeah.
But
Back to what you were saying, Jack.
yeah, I think for me is, I like to break things, find out, and then for the big major decisions is more planning and going, hey, is this going to work? Especially with social media content and stuff, they're often a mixture of let's plan this content, but also it's a little bit of let's break shit and find out, you know.
Yeah. On the go, see what works, what sticks.
Yeah, see what works, and then when we go, well, we've got this type of content that you push does really well in terms of short form, but I think we're really looking at the kind of long form content, and I think that's one of the big things I think you'll agree on is when we do this podcast is going to not start pushing me out into the longer form content. I did record longer form content and then I kind of stopped, but the podcast is now going to come in and fill that gap.
Bring you back out. Yeah.
Some more longer form content, and I'm making the bite-sized short form content, so at least if you are streaming or if you are watching this live on Twitch or listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, I'm doing a typical podcaster thing there.
It's such a scripted way.
Such a scripted way. ChatGPT's like scripted. No, I think it's good that you'll be able to consume this content at your own pace, how you want to consume it, and if you're going to take something away from this podcast, is just acting upon it. Don't. And I think. I used to be like. I used to be a big procrastinator. I think Matt. I think
I will
you're not
agree.
future procrastinator.
Nope, I'm very just if I'm thinking of something, I'll do it. I'm like break something and find out, like fix it as you go.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and I think in this episode, and it's probably like a lesson, but I'll probably talk about it in another episode. But I'll talk about it in this one anyway, just so people get
Yeah,
the
go for it.
content. Is people when they say, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist," "Oh, I'm just getting this right," or "I'm doing this because I need to have it perfect." Well, no, in my opinion, and from stuff I've listened to and read about, is I always think procrastination or perfectionism is procrastination disguising itself as quality control. Where in
Very true.
fact, if you are, like me, who is a perfectionist is someone that's basically itching at the skin to get the thing done. So me recording this podcast, I've been itching my skin, basically, not literally, but itching my skin to get this podcast recorded, get it done, get it out
Yeah.
for people to listen to and enjoy. Whereas a procrastinator would be like, oh, well, this doesn't look right on the long form content, or I'm just trying to get this podcast to sound right. And it's like, no, it's like for me,
Yeah.
don't procrastination's such a vibe killer in my opinion.
No, it is. It also just shows that no offense to people who do it, but it's not really an entrepreneurial like tendency either. Entrepreneurship is about just getting to it, taking action. Obviously, some things you'll plan and like try to get good as you can and stuff, but like you're not just trying to sit there for ages doing things. You need to just
Yeah,
get on with it and figure it out as you go.
yeah, super cool, super cool.
Yeah, that's some good advice there. So back to the main point of that before, we had a lovely Twitch bot. What makes you feel qualified to do it though? Like, is it just the advice you've got, or is it people, or anything particular that like makes you feel like you can give people genuine advice, or is it just your story, or?
I think for me, a lot of people go, "Oh, I've got experience doing this and this," but for me, I think it's a mixture of stories and experience that I've gone through. I think I'm not going to go through like all the stories, but I think, or in this podcast, we probably will. But I think there's times where you also have to learn about people using you and then you
Yep.
having to deal with the fact that they used you to achieve something that they wanted to use. Whereas if you are getting help from someone, it should be mutually beneficial. So I think a lot of my experience comes from making the mistakes and going, oh, I shouldn't have, I fucked up back then, but I'm here to tell you not to make that mistake. I think in terms of being qualified, I think it's not like qualification like you think university degree, but I think as a lot of the time I've got a lot of help from people that have done it or been on like in this kind of stuff. Like you, Matt, you've taught me things
Yeah.
that I haven't learned, but I've also taught you things that
Yep.
you
Equally
might not.
back. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
but that's why I say I'm qualified, is just based on experiences, stories, people that I've learned things from, but also a lot just from podcasts and other content that I, you know, take away those lessons and be like, hey, I learned this, or this is my take on it. You know, I hope you
Yeah.
take something away from what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree with that. You've got a lot of experience, both in terms of history and just like what you've consumed
Yeah,
to give the advice out there.
yeah,
Again, it's not like a qualification like a school degree, but he's
yeah,
definitely qualified.
yeah. More
He's
than
been through it.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
been through it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. That's one of the points of the podcast, obviously, to tell people the lessons that you've learned. So they don't have to go through the same, or maybe they can, maybe they're in the situation and
Yeah,
your advice tells them a way to do it better, or
yeah,
something like that. There'll be a lot of different advice throughout the show. So I
yeah.
think that's all of our questions for the show. Unless there's anything else you want to say for the show. There's one more question for you, but
I
anything else
think
you want to say about the show?
I think I did write something down earlier because I did put it all down in the script, but I've clearly just followed like made this quite chill and just like conversation of
Yeah.
how the podcast will be, and it's not going to sound like robotic all the time.
You just
But
said the nice thing about me, then forgot the script.
yeah, I just said the nice thing and just forgot about everything. But I think one of the things that if you are listening and you are wanting my opinion on success, because success will come up in so many episodes, and I know I'm going to go on about success, is I often say that success is something that's often hard to measure when you first start out doing Twitch streaming, music, businesses, because you don't yet have something tangible to compare your results to. So let's say, I think, Matt, this is going to be a good analogy for this one, is, well, I've made one podcast. I can't say I'm really good at podcast because I've just had one. I can't compare it across. But if I go out and make 100 podcasts, I can compare the first podcast to the other 99. So I can compare them.
Yep.
And one of the things that I would like people to take away, whether it, resonates with them, is I always define my little victories as being kind of, if you get 10 views on Twitch or you get 1,000 streams on Spotify, those little steps, like in my case, mean something and help you to consolidate it and build upon the thing you want to achieve or build. So, looking at that and going overall and going, hey, these little wins are adding up to a big win.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, it's been pretty. It's gonna be a pretty good podcast, and I'm being positive. I'm being positive. We're gonna make sure that everyone gets like a question asked or answered by me, and hopefully people put all these really nice comments, and I literally will probably be like reading them for days and being like, oh, guess we've got to keep this podcast going then.
Yeah, no, you enjoy it. You'll stick to it.
Yeah,
And you can answer a question each podcast episode from a comment as well. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can leave a comment on actual Spotify now, like itself. YouTube, you can drop a comment, you can ask some questions or anything. So you'll answer questions that you guys have and help you on your own journeys.
and Valkence Social as well.
Yes, Valkence Social. I didn't want to plug on your podcast, but yes.
I'm plugging it. I'm plugging it.
Social.valkence.com. If you know how to spell Valkence, VAL. Imagine if I spelled this wrong right now. VALKENC.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can ask him comments anywhere.
yeah,
The podcast will be all over the place, but I definitely agree on the success thing. It's all little wins into a big win. And that's something I think demotivates people sometimes as well. Like they'll see like, oh, I've only got one, I don't know, one follower, one this, one that. I'm like, well, it's still going up. The
yeah.
little wins all add up into something. It doesn't matter if it's a big up or a little up, it's still an up.
I call it the
If you
snowball
get,
effect. It's
yeah, that's what it
cumulative.
sure is.
So it's 1, 2, then 5, then 10, then 15,
Yep.
then basically you're getting 1,000, followers a day. Then you go. I always think success is a snowball effect. basically the more success you get, the bigger the snowball. So that's a good thing
Yeah,
to take
also,
away. That's a good one to take away from this
oh yeah,
this first
so
episode.
it's also contextual. Like
Yeah.
you might think, oh, this person's doing so great because they're going up thousands a day, but to them that might be
Yeah.
their one a day kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. And don't
So
compare
it's all
yourself to others,
yep,
because
exactly the lesson.
your journey is different to someone else's.
Yep, no, it's exactly true. Again, it's like
So much content here.
no, exactly though. Like I was just saying, some people might like I'll speak business wise because that's what I know more of. Like someone might be upset that their business only generated 5 million this year. They didn't get 6 like they wanted, and you're over here saying, oh, I only got $1,000 instead of $2,000. Like it's all contextual. Like everyone has their own little battles, and it doesn't matter. Everyone's got their own little stories. You can't compare to others.
Oh, it's Pedro again.
Pedro, oh, I
Pedro's
can't hear Pedro. We got to say this on the podcast. We have a love for Pedro. If you don't know who Pedro is,
He's
it's
the
a cute
raccoon.
raccoon.
Yeah.
Cute raccoon. Awesome raccoon. That's my favorite animal.
Yeah, it's true.
Raccoons are awesome. But that's a really good lesson. Anything else you want to say for the show, or do you want me to ask you this last question about yourself?
I think I think we've covered most of the major points in this episode, because this first episode was kind of just going to be to go through the format and have a little bit of a talk about some lessons, but I think I don't think there is. I need to come up with some more like questions and more topics to talk about, but I
Yeah,
think
there'll be more of a structure for the other episodes. This episode's more just a casual chat, get to know Jack, get to know the podcast, and
yeah.
get a feel for things.
And also, I shared some stories about me, and I shared a bit
Yeah,
of some motivation anyway.
yeah, definitely some value in here already in the first episode. Yeah, so that's the bit about the podcast. And then the last question for you yourself is your aspirations for yourself as a whole. So you've got the podcast now, which is obviously one aspiration. But as a whole, alongside including the podcast, like mention that again, like what are all your aspirations right now? What do you want to achieve? What are you working towards? What do you want your end goal to be?
Maybe I need to get like a whiteboard back there, like so
That'd be a
where
good
I
idea.
yeah, get a whiteboard there so I can do like a little bit of like motivation on the
That'd
whiteboard.
be good.
I think aspiration wise,
Yeah, what's your end goal for everything? Like, what do you want to, at the end of it, when it's all said and done, and you've said you've reached your goals, you know, goals never truly end. Like, where do you want to be? What do
goals
you
are
want to
like a
have?
roller coaster. They keep going.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. As soon as you reach one goal, it's like, okay, next. The
Next bit.
entrepreneurship spirit.
I like to say goals to me are mountains. So I climb one mountain, I still got another one to climb.
Yep. Let's go
So
down and get to another one.
so I think for me, aspirations wise, is one, the podcast. Well, technically we're already here, so we're at the gateway of this first one. I think the
Yep.
second one is production. We're gonna really upgrade production, like like the sounds and stuff we're working on. I think the copyright free album is one of the
Do you want to talk
biggest.
about that?
Yeah, I'll
We
talk
haven't talked
about.
about it on the podcast. Speak about it. Go for it.
So I think for anyone that is listening and is a streamer or a content creator or just anyone that likes just doesn't like to be like basically doesn't want their music anytime they make content to get striked. So as part of kind of my self and kind of my wisdom and kindness that I've been bringing is with Valkence's, I'm working to bring out a copyright free album that's made for creators by creators. That is such a good
Look
line.
at that. It is a good
Look at
tagline, yeah.
look at me. I might be in the Valkence marketing department by the end of the day.
Fire me. Get me out of here.
Yeah, but the album itself is all copyright free songs that you can use without being, without the worry of copyright strikes, DMCA. You can use it in your streams, Instagram content, and you don't have to worry about being taken down. And that's one of the
Yeah.
things I always have as a main ethos of kind of JackOKings in a nutshell is helping others, because I like supporting other creators because they are going through the same, even though their journey is different. I like supporting them on their journey because they're going through the same sort of journey I'm going through. It's like, well, I've now got to look at what I'm doing as a whole, as a kind of content creator, how do I then turn this into like a business that, I can then soon go, hey, I don't want to do my 9 to 5 anymore because I'm making a sustainable income from streaming or music, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Apart from that, that's the copyright free album, and I think another aspiration is the music that I'm producing, the JackOKings sound, is maturing more as I grow with the brand.
Yep.
A lot more, lot more melodic and chill. And I think some other things would be, I want to do a little bit more DJ sets. I want to get a little bit more out there, do shows,
Big labels.
big label, target the bigger labels, do more shows. Coachella would be nice.
Touring.
Touring a lot more, but also doing growing a community. Big one is growing a community of people that
Yeah.
it isn't just me going, oh, I'm going to coach music producers how to make music, but it's also like sort of doing consulting with like streamers, and sort of like how this podcast does what it's designed to do, but consulting with people, being like, hey, oh, there's like a fly flying around by
More
range.
direct.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
direct. So that it's like I can then go like have a one-to-one and a heart-to-heart and consult like kind of streamers, content creators, and being like, hey, I've definitely been in the same boat as you, because you know that's how I feel about it. But yeah, so many cool goals, and podcast, and everything's just, if we had a graph right now and it had JackOKings at the bottom, literally
Flying.
it stonks basically. It's going up. But
It has to be fair. Since 2024, since 2014 then. 2024,
2014. I've
since
been
that
doing it since
started. Yeah.
2014. No, JackOKings wasn't that successful in 2014 because
I
it
know.
barely
No, since
grew.
2024, everything's just been great. You've been starting all these different things,
Yeah, it's been great.
doing loads of different.
And helping other creators has always been a big part, and I think that's what the main message I like to get across is, I want to help other people out, and
Yep.
it's I'm not there to go, oh, I'm just helping you out because when I grow, it's more me helping you out because I'm going, hey, I've been in the same boat as you, and just generally being like, hey, you know, it's tough. It's tough because, like we previous point that we said at the start, is if it was easy, everyone would be a Twitch partner by now, or everyone would be a Grammy-winning music producer.
Yeah, I think that's a very important lesson to
Yeah.
like go into a bit more as well. That lesson right now, actually, I'd probably go into a bit more. Like, it is so true because people think like, why isn't it happening to me, or why these people just got it so easily? But no, it's not easy. Everyone else would be the same boat as the people you want to be. If that was the case, everyone would be a celebrity. Everyone, and like, I see you drinking again on stream. See, I'm telling you drink breaks. No, but everyone would be a streamer. Everyone would be a music artist. So there's a reason it feels hard. It's because it is hard. And if it wasn't, then everyone would be doing crazy things. And it
Even
wouldn't
your
be
nan would
like
be making music as well.
she'd be DJing right now.
Yeah.
She would be the DJ with Pedro.
Even though like those people that say I'm a DJ and I see them on their phone playing a Spotify playlist, you aren't a DJ, okay? There's a little
You're
bit
just
more effort
flipping the
in it.
volume switch.
Yeah, you're just going, I'm just gonna press my iPhone and turn up the numbers.
Crossfade on Spotify for the effect.
Yeah, be like, hey, hello, you ain't DJ.
You're not spinning anything, just our brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good lesson though. So yeah, you want to do community building, get your music out there more, labels, touring, events, sets, DJing,
Consulting.
yeah, consulting. Also get the podcast big. Genuinely, all around. It's genuinely or January?
Just
Generally, all around. Get the brand popping. Make
yeah.
JackOKings a household name, yeah.
Yeah, and then 9 to 5, that's when I walk into HR. Well,
Yeah.
HR be like, hey, and I'm like, hey, I'm leaving, and they go, why? I was like, I've got a #1 podcast. I'm leaving. Like, basically, I'm touring next week. I can't really come into work, and I can't book it
I
as
know.
an annual leave.
HR, if you're listening to the podcast now, he is joking.
For legal
Does
reasons,
not
I
mean that
am
yet.
joking.
Right now, he's joking. Give him a bit longer. He might say this, but right now, joking.
Joking. Joking.
No, yeah, lots of JackOKing joking.
Hey.
Loads of goals. Any personal goals to wrap us up? That was business and brand goals, but like any personal goals, fitness, things like that.
I think fitness. I think we talked about that. Like, I'm trying to bulk up a bit.
Yep.
Not too much, but want to bulk up a little bit. I want to be
Michelin man.
yeah, I don't want to be the Michelin, right? I just want to bulk up a bit and then, kind of nurture more relationships with people because I can be a little bit,
Yeah.
off to myself. So hopefully we'll find love at some point this year. That's a good thing. But at the moment, it's going to be gym, work, and just, work motivation, that self care journey and just keep trying
Yeah.
to
Getting
improve
your
myself.
mindset right.
Yeah, and then basically, smashing everything out of the park, and they'd be like, "Oh, dang!" Like when people go, "Oh, you've changed." Well, that's just because they can't say you've grown, basically.
I never get that one when they say that you've changed. I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to. That's what humans do. You're supposed to change.
Or I think I seen the one about the flower, where it's like,
Oh, butterfly
um,
as well.
I think the one I saw was about the flower, and the flower is basically someone going up to him, going, "You've grown," and then the flower going, "Yeah, I sure hope, I sure hope so."
Yeah. Yeah, I never get that with people. They'll
Yeah,
say you've changed, just like that's what you're supposed to do.
yeah, exactly.
Especially entrepreneurship wise, you change pretty much every single day.
Yeah,
One day you have one thought, the next day you have a different thought, and changes all the time.
yeah,
So I can say that from experience as well. Business
yeah,
wise, mindset wise, everything you change day to day.
yeah,
So yeah, fitness is one, mindset is one, travel the world maybe.
yeah. I might travel the world.
Traveling, might just
Yeah,
travel the world.
might
Go
just
on
travel the
Friday.
world. Yeah,
Shall I go?
yeah. Let's just go on Friday. I'll just book it off.
I'll put the flights.
Yeah,
PJ there. Yeah.
yeah. I'll just
Yeah. No.
parachute into a country.
Private jet. Let's go.
You know what? Valkence charity stream. I'll jump out of a plane.
Would you do it?
Yeah, fuck it, I'll do
That-
it.
it's
I
just on
will.
the spot. I'll do it.
I'll do it. Where's Jack? Oh, he's just doing a parachute. He's
In the
just doing a
sky.
giant parachute jump. Valkence on the
No.
Valkence
Where's Jack?
stage.
Where's Jack? Look up.
We.
I would do it too.
Yeah,
Hundred
I
percent.
do it for Valkence charity, obviously.
Yeah, charity. Yeah, have to have charity.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
just
that'd
doing
be
it for
good.
money.
Just one day to wake up and go, I'm just gonna jump out of a plane.
For money.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. Traveling as well. Anything else you want to do? I'm trying to think what else there is. Oh, we were so business minded that all we think about is like brand and business and a
Yeah,
bit
that's
about
what's
ourselves.
that's literally what's happened. As soon as I used to just do everything like, oh, I'm gonna go out partying and do all this, and now I'm literally just business and brand now. So I'm just like, I don't even have
Yeah, they are
time.
the.
Like
No, that is
next
life.
minute I'll be launching an energy drink next week or something. I don't know.
That's a good one as well. Let's keep going on this for a second. Any business ventures you want to do? Like, is there anything? Would you want to start anything new? I know you've got your brand that is a whole business in itself, but is there anything like? Let me think what there is. Like music equipment,
I think
drink.
I think I want to start like I want to start like a clothing brand.
Yeah,
Clothing brand. I know I said about dating, but just hear me out. I've seen too many dating apps.
hear me out.
Hear me out. Biggest quote of
Okay.
JackOKings in the year. Hear me out.
Well, whenever
Um,
someone says that, it usually means something bad's coming. But go for it.
well, the thing is, someone's probably going to take this idea and go off with it, but I don't think there's like a proper music app for like dating. Do you know, like matching people based on? I think there probably is, but I want to make it better.
Music preferences.
Music preferences, and you can meet like-minded people. Like it sort of have like gig integration or something like that. So if you buy a tick, like it's like, oh, you can buy tickets for a certain gig within that app, basically.
And it
Ticketmaster gonna
plugged in.
be Ticketmaster gonna be ringing me up in 10 minutes, being like, going, "Hey, how do we do that?" I was like, "You took what?" But
Hey,
I
it doesn't
think
matter if you say these ideas out loud. It takes people to actually execute them. Most people don't execute; they just hear
I'm
ideas.
just giving ideas. I'm gonna be like a business consultant by the end of the
I have to put
month.
this in there as well. I think that's the dumbest thing as well for people. I'm throwing advice in there as well. Don't worry. I think it's dumb when people say I'm scared to give my idea out in case people steal it. You have to realize when you say that, 99.9999999% of people will never execute on an idea. They just hear it. They think it's cool. It's like, oh, I'll do it one day. They'll never do it. So don't worry about saying your ideas often, unless it's something crazy. Obviously, then probably keep your mouth shut. But
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to start. I'm going to do this and this and this. But I think
yeah, if you say anything, it's just like inventory. Yeah,
clothing brand, that's been the biggest one. Because I
that'll
think
be good.
I'm trying to come up with like a kind of a cartoon character. Um,
Yeah,
cartoon character.
Speaking from a clothing brand person as well, I can say it's a great thing to do. It's very fun.
Energy drink.
It's
I might
awesome.
start an energy drink or something.
That'd be cool. Hydration drink or something.
Yeah, for producers, by producers.
Just start one. Just start one on Friday. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll get Lucas Aid on speed dial. Be like, how quick is it to make a drink?
Can we buy you out?
Can I buy you out? I've got a couple quid to start now.
I know.
Couple quid. How much you got? 3 mil. No.
No, yeah, clothing. That'd be good. Drink brand be cool. Anything else? Or are they your main things? Brand, music, clothing, drink maybe. The app idea as well is cool.
Yeah.
This is another thing you can do on the show as well. As you build these ventures, you'll get to show people like you building them. It's not just like a podcast just about like mindset only. Like you're going to be building things and showing the actual struggles of them and the mindset you have during them, which can be good.
But also, I'll get a whiteboard so that I can explain different points.
You need a whiteboard.
Or I might get
I have two whiteboards.
I might get a virtual one where I just like, okay, we're gonna go like a I'll do it like a Zoom stream. Not like when you go into
Star Wars saber.
It'd be like, hey, look, all right, here you see, like we're gonna go through this motivation where, but I think one of the big ones is just gonna be going back into producing long form content and.
Yeah.
And I think we circle back to that point is like I look at JackOKings and it's like, oh, I produce music, I DJ. What value do I give to people? And this is my way of giving value, advice, also producing music and all that, but also having brands and ventures and subscriptions and cool stuff and growing a community. Because the community has been a big one. That's the biggest venture that I'm trying to grow a community of like-minded people.
That's the best thing to have as a brand.
Yeah, not just musicians, not just streamers, not just creative people, just people that just want to come to a safe space, chill out, talk about their goals, and basically just go ham, basically.
People who have drive, that's what you mean.
People
motivated people.
And motivated, and people that are really serious about committing to building something more long-term and sustainable and breaking out of the social constructs basically, because I think one of the things I think I said it to you or I said it to someone, but it was like the thing that you can't do is let people go. And you'll probably get this from your friends, you'll get this pushback, and I think Matt, you've probably had this pushback, I've had it as well, is, oh no, Jack, I don't really like you doing that. Just can you get back in that box?
Put you into a box that they like because it suits their level.
And it's comfortable and it's warm and they don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
For me, I just want to do what I want to do. It's like, yeah, I know there's some risk, but like I put in a recent Instagram post, it's like I've got nothing to lose, but everything to win.
Yep.
Basically.
I think that's a good point as well. There's risk in everything as well in life. Like it's not just entrepreneurship is like one of the biggest risks you can take, but you risk anything just waking up every day. Leaving your house is a risk. Everything's a risk. If you want to play by the risk game, then don't leave your house. Sit in your bed all day.
Yeah. Or I like to literally when people go, oh, I think Matt, you'll probably agree with me on this, but the one is when people go, oh, I've got nothing, so I ain't got nothing to start Twitch streaming or start music or this. It's like, well, if you haven't got nothing, then you've got nothing to lose.
Exactly, yeah. People also make excuses with that as well.
Yeah.
I think it was on an interview I did like a few years ago. It was like, what's your best advice to founders? And it was just like, be relentless and just like get after it and use what you can. Like even if you can start anything these days with the internet, like any business can be started pretty much for free. Even if it looks tacky, doesn't matter, just get going with it, start waiting around. But if you do need something like materials, physical materials, start a social media page. Just get on with it.
Yeah. It's like
build something.
I see it like a lot of electricians and stuff that don't go on social media. It's like, well, you just cut it off, you like mark it off because people are always looking for electricians on Facebook. So
yeah,
I'm giving business advice now.
Yeah, no, people definitely sell themselves shorter than they could. Well, they shouldn't. So.
This has been a really good episode. Like, it's been an hour. Like, I was expecting, I was going to record like 30 minutes. No, we've recorded like an hour and 4 minutes. This
is why I was brought in, guys. I'm here to make him talk. No, No, he talks anyway. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good episode, though. Covered everything. So what the podcast is. Do you want to do a bit of a summary for everyone at the end? So who you are, what the podcast is about, what they can expect coming up.
So if you've probably just, either if you've got to the end, and well done for getting to the end, you've just had to put up listening to us for about an hour, or if you've just, kind of skipped and scrolled to the end, well done.
Got to the good stuff.
Hi, I just like, hi, how are you? You just clearly skipped to the end, so I clearly know. But in summary, I am JackOKings, music producer and DJ, and as I said before, Big Brother, you wish you had. And
Yep.
basically from this podcast is gonna be just like almost like you're sat in the room with me on a couch talking about kind of my experiences, how you go from this kind of, how do I go from day one I've just set up a brand that I really want to turn into like my main passion and start making money online or something from it, all the way to motivation and all the challenges I've had where I'm like, hey, I've been messed over by this person. They used me for what I know, and I'm not really happy about it. And how I'll be like, oh, I overcome this by this. But also it's just also like wisdom and being like, hey, you'll be able to do this, and the motivation and the mindset too. I'll help with pushing through and being like Matt said, being relentless and getting through your goals, climbing one
All
mountain at a time.
encompassing.
Yeah,
All encompassing show on mindset, business, hustle culture, entrepreneurship, all that stuff, and you'll have guests on as well.
well rounded. It's a well rounded podcast, and it goes back to the question is I think it was Sienna on social.
Oh, I know what you
Valkence
mean.
Social.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone that's given a question on Valkence Social. Well done. But you can visit
Yeah.
that as well. But it goes back to why I wanted to start it. Is essentially just because I wanted to give back to people, but also give them the lessons that they could use to then uplift their journey. And yeah, I am really really excited for this podcast, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the comments from people.
Yeah. Ask questions. Tell them what you want to know.
How to know?
Tell
Pick
them.
my brain.
Yeah, write your challenges. Like, what's a challenge you're going through, and he'll answer it. Maybe one or a few in each episode.
Yeah, like
That'd be a good idea. Yeah.
I think like you're probably getting to the end of this and going, oh, I've really enjoyed this podcast. But one of the takeaways, like I know Matt will probably also say that I've probably given some really good points about success and motivation and stuff, is like take a piece of paper. If you've got a piece of paper, don't worry. Or if you've got a journal, piece of paper, sticky notes, or notes on your phone. And then as you listen to this podcast, it's like Matt said, write down some of the biggest challenges that you've got right now, like with brand, with business, or with streaming, or whatever you're wanting to do as like a creative, or just what you want to do, or just even like go like, that is what I think is the best way, because in each episode I will go through some of those points because I will relate to them in some way and can give you advice on that. And I'm sure the guests I bring on, they'll also relate to that as well. And it's also going to make you feel really happy because we'll have helped you, like, sort of like you've opened up to us and we've given you the advice that you can then use to upscale. I like to say scale and upscale. Basically, and then you'll accelerate kind of your thing, and then you'll be like, whoa, Jack's really good at giving advice, and I'll be like, yeah, not really good at normally giving advice, but now I am really good at it. I'm like peak advice giver now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a good one.
That's definitely yeah. No, there'll be guests of all different types as well. Not just obviously music, creators, business people, entrepreneurs, bit of a mix. So even if Jack maybe hasn't experienced word for word something that you say, he'll definitely have related to it, and the guests will also do the same.
Ethan's gone 10 out of 10 first episode, yeah.
Yeah. Ethan, by the way, I didn't even explain what I do, but he's a part of the Valkence family, the team behind it. So
yeah.
Ethan's his support. I'll give you a shout out, Ethan, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. We're giving you a shout out. Everyone's got a shout out, I think, this episode.
Yeah, I've shouted out the people I've disliked in the episode in the chat, the bots.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think people on Valkence Social, they got shout out.
yeah. Everyone got a shout out.
Everyone
See,
got shout
look,
out.
we're spreading the joy everywhere. People have already asked questions for this first episode. We've answered them all, literally every single question. And that was like 7, 8 questions. So
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting any, to be honest. I came in
yeah.
with no expectations, and then everyone's like, "Hey,
Here's a question.
what's the question? Am I going to keep
No,
having
his.
drink breaks on stream?" Yeah.
No, it's been definitely a good episode, and it definitely went way past expectations on timing. From what was it, 20 minutes?
20.
The guess, and
I
then
think we was like 10, 20-minute episode.
yeah,
But
quick
we got
episode, and we ended up.
full hour. A full hour
Yeah,
of content.
you see, that's what happens when you get chatting away with things you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that wraps us up. If you want to outro us out, Jack, where can they can find the podcast, all the platforms they can find it on, where they can find
Am I
you.
gonna have to script this again?
Yeah, get ready. This is exactly like the Valkence podcast. Go for it like usual.
So, to find the Amplify Your Ambition podcast, it sounds so scripted, but yeah, to find the
No, it's how it is.
Amplify Ambition podcast, you can simply find it on all your favorite ones: Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. But technically, they're the same platform. They just have a different app. But anywhere you like to get your podcasts, you can find it there. As Matt said before, if you want to comment some of your challenges on the Spotify one, or we'll obviously put this episode link on Valkence Socials,
YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube. Leave a comment there, or social.valkence.com. We'll also put that there, so then you
We'll
can also
find your comments. We will
yeah,
find it.
yeah, and I need those comments to then keep me going, and keep and make me go, oh, these podcast comments. But in terms of kind of from there, the podcasts. As for my socials, you can see them dotted around on the. I'm just my hands just going. I don't know where they are, but
No, you're in the right place.
yeah. So I'm just in the general vicinity, right? But like JackOKings on YouTube, JackOKings on Instagram or Twitter, or well, X, formerly
Oh,
Twitter.
yeah, I was say, let's calm down with the Twitter.
Twitter. Oh no, X, formerly Twitter. It's JackOKings, but we're working on getting JackOKings. We don't know
Whoever,
why.
yeah, let me just say a little message here real quick. Whoever
Whoever's
you
got,
are who owns JackOKings,
give me back. Come here.
can we please have the name? I don't know who you are. You haven't used the account in years.
Yeah, like we want it. We
Yeah.
need it.
We'll give you a Haribo. Come on.
I'll give you a Tang Fastic.
I've none of those in years.
A singular Tang Fastic.
Just for the whole name.
But
yeah, you can find him there.
yeah, and obviously I'm going to plug Valkence here because Valkence.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you can find
Isn't he a
Valkence
sweetheart?
on all the social media: Instagram, TikTok, X. We're that good. We have a blue tick, so why not give them a follow? Why not?
With that sad we pay for a blue tick is what you meant.
Well, we're exposed. Because
we have to pay for them on X.
JackOKings investigated journalists. Yeah.
Is your tick real or fake? Unfortunately, Mr. Elon made us all have to pay for ticks now.
We had to all pay for it, like Instagram make us pay for it.
Yeah. No, we're Valkence everywhere. I don't really say what I do, but I run Valkence as well, a few other things, so Valkence everywhere for that. And yeah, that wraps us up.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. So we'll see you guys on the next episode, and we thank you all for tuning in a bit.
Thank you very much.